What can we expect from Clan Wars in the future?
When will training rooms be added to Blitz?
What are your thoughts on the current map pool and map design?
Is there anything you can do to fix
What's
it?
coming up? What's going to be the next big thing for eSports?
What can be done to reduce griefing in random battles?
Welcome everyone, we're at Wargaming North America. We're at our HQ in San Francisco, and we're joined by a lot of players that we've invited here, but more importantly, our God Emperor himself. Victor is here. Hello Victor, good to see you.
How you doing? Hello.
And we're going to roll on to some questions with players, but before we get to that, let's just deal with some sticky stuff just to make sure that, you know, Victor's in the right mood. So, tough question number one, 10.0, we cancelled it, it's gone. What was all that about?
Well, let me answer that with a little bit of history. World of Tanks, we started the development more than 7 years ago, and the game saw light 5.5 years ago, right? And the grass was greener and the sun was shining brighter.
We were younger.
We were younger. And after all these years, a lot of things changed. We were a little bit euphoric, thinking to ourselves, okay, we have this success with players in Russia, now let's roll over the world and everything will be good. Well, the reality is that this kind of project, especially when it just goes, 5 years, 6 years, they evolve. The world around us is evolving. We are, growing, getting kids, getting married, leaving university, getting jobs. So no matter how good the game was 6 years ago, recently, because of, we have more than 150 million players in the game. We have 400 tanks now as compared to approximately 100 back in the days, 40 plus maps. eSports, Clan Wars. Some people who were playing this game for 6 years, they evolved as World of Tanks players too. So for the last, let's say, a year and a half, we were still very immersed into thinking about new stuff which we can add to the game, and forgot a little bit about the old good game, those things which made players happy in the beginning. And because of these balancing issues and much more complex mathematical model behind it, and now we have servers all around the world. It's not just like Russia, Europe, and America. We have players in Southeast Asia, in Japan, in Korea, in China, in South America. So it all resulted in the fact that the game probably needed more attention on its core. And our players were more and more vocal about that, and we did this mistake. We did not listen good enough, well enough for that. And we were in the middle of preparing this next big Rubicon 10.0 patch, and we were a little bit of deaf towards what players were crying on the forums and in the video blogs. But then we realized, okay, something is really wrong, fundamentally wrong. We jumped on it. We just brought the best people, including those two guys who invented the game and made it successful during the first couple of years. Analyzed everything, saw data, met with the players, met with video bloggers, and oh my God, the picture was not so good. So we had two choices, keep going, pretending that nothing is happening, or be honest and transparent about the fact that we are screwing up. We chose the latter. We admitted, we came in front of, first historically that happened in Russian video blogging ecosystem. I stood in front of the camera and said, sorry, we screwed up. We have to cancel, postpone, we are not going to release this Rubicon thing. Instead, we're going to roll back and see what's wrong with the game and fix it in the first place. That's what happened. We immediately did a lot of significant changes to the leadership of the tank development team. Some people had to go, some good new people came in, and 9.14 actually is a good example of our turning this big, huge ship towards what players really want, and we're going, from now on, we're going to be doing this. So now, player feedback is going to be the integral part of our strategy. Yeah, we were saying this before. Every company says, like, we listen to our players, but it takes special procedures, special attention, time, people, like we're doing now, to actually be listening to the players and then following up and just actually doing what they're asking.
Yeah, I mean, from where my personal experience, I came in just around the time that 10.0 was cancelled. And I got to experience the shift in focus and attention, that you brought people back onto the project, you removed people from the project, the product group was set up, and 9.14 is the first update that we've seen from you, and it's gone tremendously well in North America, and as far as I can tell, tremendously well everywhere. Yeah. What do you think is the things about 9.14 that stood out?
Well, we did this pretty much for the first time. Our homeland, Minsk, where tanks were developed, and it is predominantly, Russian, Belarusian, Ukrainian kind of culture place, and that of course reflected on the development style and management. What happened is, I'm very clear about this now. Those people who started making World of Tanks 7 years ago, okay, old friends, old veterans, etc. But at that time we were 60 people, 70 people, 120 people. It's so much easier, and there's no competition. The game was small, just 100 tanks, just 1,000 maps. And from the technological standpoint, it was much easier to make this game and then to release patch number 1, then patch number 2. There's not much change. Today, we have released more than 60 updates, and please note that there were no significant downtimes. We are 24/7 for the last 6 years. So what our development team has to do, we're building the game, upgrading the game, making new maps, new tanks, new gameplay modes, eSports, clan wars, etc., while the game is still running. We don't have that luxury of stop the production and take 12 months to kind of refurbish it, like rehaul. No, it's it's live, and it's live pretty much all over the world. More than 40 languages we support. That was one of the reasons that I decided, which was, let's say, unheard of, to bring Western talent to Minsk development and to World of Tanks development. So today, I'm so happy. Okay, it's not an announcement, just to say that the head of global World of Tanks development is a guy named Thane Liman. He's an American. He lives in California. Okay, now he's moving to Cyprus, to our headquarters, to do this job. He spent like 17 years in Activision, and the last, like, say, decade, he was a producer on those big franchises like Call of Duty, like Destiny. That sounds like a good caliber for that. And the head of Minsk studio in Minsk is Neil Petit. He's a British guy, former submarine, sailor, and well, this new talent, with their experience, with their procedures, with their discipline, will definitely be very helpful for the tank development. And yeah, 9.14 is a good first demonstration that it's kind of working. Players, we need them to to be satisfied. We need them to have lots of fun, to be happy, etc. And I will do whatever it takes, bringing people from anywhere in the world, or moving the development anywhere in the world, parts of the development if it needs to be, to just keep going with World of Tanks.
Well, the new physics in 9.14 appear to have been very well received. Everyone seems to really like them. And in particular here in the North America, when we did the update, the amount of people with their headphones on who then started making noises because all the new sounds had happened were wonderful.
Well, obviously 9.14 is just the beginning. We have tons of things planned for 9.15, 16, 17, etc. And this list this time is comprised from the players' desires and from those requests from forums, from meetings like this, from the community managers' work, asking what they want. So there's not going to be like something groundbreaking in 9.15, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay, the things which are going to be there for sure is we will up something like 10 old premium tanks. It just so happened that those tanks are not good, are not comfortable to play, and players cry out loud that, come on, you're selling this and it's not up to.
I saw the list. I agree. I think all the tanks we picked that we're going to buff, they're all good. They're all the right tanks to pick.
Yeah. So we combine that list. Also, I don't know if it's good news or bad news. We're going to take out the rampage mode. Well, for the same reasons as Rubicon. It was kind of a part of that Rubicon evolution, and we're going to take it out because it's not good. People don't play it much, and something needs to be fundamentally changed about this. So we take it out, and then we'll see what we do with that. The biggest thing which we have to do before we think about anything else big is the rebalance, and it's going to be a huge project. It's actually going now. So let me please explain you how and what we will do. Obviously, now we have 400 tanks, more than 40 maps, players who are playing for 6 years, etc., etc., etc. And the methodology we were using for balance, for matchmaking, for premium tanks, kind of is a little bit dated from 2011 and 12 when we were launching the game. So this complexity was not being addressed for the last couple of years. We want to bring, and now it's a good opportunity to bring the game to the next level. Yeah, we all love all good tanks of 2012, but given this complexity and size and sophistication, that's a good opportunity to look at today's nations and classes as kind of more diverse than they are today, to bring, let's say, new opportunities for various types of vehicles, to make them more distinct, to allow players to shine in a particular tank if you play it right. So there's a lot of work to be done, based, of course, on statistics, on business intelligence analysis, on talking to players, on seeing eSports matches. It's like making a new game. But now we are determined. We know players want this. They may use different language to describe this problem, but we just accumulated it. The whole rebalance needs to be done. Tanks, nations, classes, their usage, shooting distances, speeds, traverse. Of course, the new physics will play a role in that because it changes the gameplay, by definition. We were under misconception before that. Okay, if players don't like matchmaking, we just fix matchmaking. Okay, they don't like this or that map, let's take them out, and etc. The thing is that this world of tanks is an ecosystem very similar to your biological ecosystem. Oh, imagine this National Geographic or Animal Planet kind of episode about swamps in tropical jungles in Cambodia. There's lots of plants, lots of animals, insects there, fish. What happens is that if you take out, just imagine, take out this little mosquito as a kind of living organism out of this ecosystem, then ecosystem has a very high chance of breaking. Why? Because this mosquito is food for, let's say, bigger bug, and this bug is food for this small bird. This small bird is prey to falcon, and so on and so on. And so if you take the mosquito out, then everything changes. Snakes disappear because they don't have food, or these birds actually flourish because nobody eats them now, and so this swamp will never be again. The same you can tell scientifically about World of Tanks. If you just say, oh, just nerf artillery, just remove the artillery, that's not the solution. Why? If we remove artillery, which was designed to kind of prevent this bush sitting, if we take out artillery and nerf it significantly right away without changing anything else, what happens? Tank destroyers will be kings of the world from now on, and the next week everybody will be complaining on the player side, oh, tank destroyers, sit in the bushes and nobody moves, and similar things. Matchmaker, well, the same. You have to take into consideration these rebalance characteristics of the tanks to make sure the balancer considers, the matchmaker considers the right parameters. Maps, they're not just maps which are independently, existing. These maps, they incorporate, passages, cover, and we have to take into consideration, shooting distances, the terrain, the slowing down, etc., etc. So yeah, we're looking at this let's say, tropical jungle, very sophisticated and rich kind of biological system. So that's why for our grand rebalance, we will take some extra time to make sure we analyze everything, understood everything, and make those changes, nicely so that they don't break the whole system.
No, I'm really looking forward to it. So I'll ask you a couple of questions to make sure you're still playing, because I know you've been playing a little bit of Blitz. And so I just want to make sure you still got love for the piece. Let's just talk about it. Your favorite tank?
Well, that's obviously Maus.
The
German
Maus.
Maus. Oh, yes.
Tier 10, German heavy.
Tier 10, German heavy, that's my first 10.
And I heard a rumor that you have a killer tactic with your mouse in Himmelsdorf.
Rush to center all the way to the enemy base. This is how I do it. Maus is not your fastest tank, but...
It really rush, does it? Sort of crawl to the center.
This is how it's happening. Shell bounces make it like a little more enjoyable. This is how it happens. When we have this 30 seconds and they count down, I immediately start typing really very fast to my team members. People say there's no place for artillery in Himmelsdorf. I'm going to tell you something different. So first I type to our artillery players, like, hey, just guys, line behind me. I'm going to rush the center, and you line behind me. There will be a lot of meat, a lot of food for you to help me. And
so you get all the artillery behind you.
Well, sometimes yes, sometimes they don't listen and just go left and right. That is their choice. But sometimes they line up behind me, 1 or 2 or 3 pieces, and that's a massacre. Like enemy, of course, like because I'm playing Russian server with my own name, Victor Kiss. So that's my nickname, which is pretty much my name, family name. So some of those, on the other team, the chat probably is like exploding, like, oh, Victor Kiss is gonna rush, he's gonna rush. I'm like, okay, let's see how it goes. So usually there's a salient of
Waffentraggers, yeah, I can imagine.
Those German pretty much tank destroyers and heavy tanks waiting for me, and I rush. I wait a little bit for artillery to load if it's the case. From time to time, 1 or 2 tier 10s come with me. They're like, yeah, okay, we trust you, but only this time. Only this time. Like some of them had seen this before, and we rush. So if artillery is behind, if I'm supported with 1 or 2 tanks, which cover left and right, I go through the splats and go to this street and all the way to the enemy base. Then you get Pascucci. I mean, if there's enemy artillery there, it's mine.
Well, I was about to say, you get the other side. Because at that point, you're scouting in a mouse, right? You've taken it to extremes.
Believe it or not, you can watch my profile on Russian server. I have a lot of scout medals.
Oh no, that's true. I can get...
and Pascuccis, which means 3 artillery.
Yeah. So, what's the equipment you run on your mouse?
Frankly speaking, I don't remember. It's something which I put there like 5 years ago. It's still there. So there would be everything which I still like to shoot. So every
rammer.
Rammer. Everything which speeds.
Gun lane drive.
Yes, this one, and sometimes it's this German food, which sorry, ventilation.
Oh, the ventilation. Yeah. Air conditioning. Let's call it what it is. Air conditioning.
Air conditioning.
That seems reasonable. And then, do you run with food or fire extinguisher?
Okay. On the consumables, I have small repair kit.
Right.
Large.
Then large repair kit's very sensible.
And medical kit.
Are you of big medical or small medical?
Of course, big.
Big. Well, just double check it. That seems reasonable. And do you shoot a lot of gold?
Yes, I just love
Good. I wholeheartedly approve.
This is not illegal.
When you're loading in, is there a tank the enemy can have that just makes you go, oh, I really don't like that tank?
Oh yeah, I have a very clear answer. This is American E5. tier 10.
Tier 10.
And the turret.
Heavy.
Like on any other map when they do this turret play, what can you do? He just goes through me like I'm a piece of butter. I mean, his gun just.
Oh, that HD model upgrade was a murder. So for me, it's the T-29. I can't stand that tank. I'd have it removed from the game. I'd have it crushed into metal and put in the bottom of mountains so it could be remined and made into something else. What we're going to do now is going to take some questions from the people we've gathered here and see what they're going to say. Let's see how you do when the players get to talk to you.
Ready.
So we got our first question from our players. It actually comes from Mort, who is on Team Eclipse, that won the Wargaming North America Finals over in Las Vegas. They'll be going to the finals representing us along with the other mighty team of Simp. Mort, what's your question?
I hate Artie. All my friends, like Akula V, they hate Artie too. Is there anything you can do to fix it?
I can hear you. Like, yeah, everybody hates artillery, probably apart from artillery players.
I love artillery.
But like in this biological ecosystem, there is no way we can just cut it out and everything is good. Artillery is a class in World of Tanks. It has its purpose. Is it overpowered today and too easy, you know, too sneaky? Yes, but we're going to rebalance it, nerf or up it, whatever is required, as a part of this overall rebalancing with, you know, with attention to maps and changes in maps, other classes, you know, shooting distances, matchmaker, etc., etc., etc. So it is a part of an ecosystem. We understand how painful it is now. We're with you. I'm with you. It will be fixed. After 9.15, there will be, you know, there will be the time where we will be rolling out those kind of new rebalanced updates.
Rolling straight on, we have another question. It's from Silent Demise. You're going to ask the question now.
What can be done to fix the matchmaker imbalances regarding tiers and tank types?
You know, I'm a physicist myself, so I know some things about math, statistics, physics. It is being worked at on as a part of this overall rebalance. And again, matchmaker is a part of the system. There is no, we tried, but there is no such like easy solution as plus minus one level or just platoon of one tier allowed. Those are kind of like good ideas, but we need to see how they work, to what extent in conjugation with rebalance of tank classes. So it is a part of the grand rebalance work we're doing today. It's ongoing. It will be a part of the overall solution. So we are working on it.
You were telling me before we got on camera that you'd actually read part of the design for Matchmaker. You're very pleased with it.
Yeah, not only I read, as a part of this, like, let's say, new direction for World of Tanks development, I created this product group, right? Let me very quickly explain how it works. World of Tanks is not just, you know, programmers and artists. So there's development, and not only in one place. There's engine, which is being developed in Sydney. There's main studio in Minsk, Belarus, and there's some parts of this game which are made in other wargaming studios, and even some third-party kind of companies whom we contract to do some like bits and pieces, and later on they will be doing bigger parts. This product group, its role is to unite all of that development kind of initiatives and capacity with publishing, which is, you know, community management, customer support, eSports, clan wars, all those activities, plus, you know, some administration, some visionary kind of elements. So I decided to be chairman of the group in order to make sure now everything is synchronized and no internal, you know, politics kind of kicks in, which was a little bit the case, you know, in big companies where more than 4,000 people, 16 different locations, and there's some slowness in that. There's some corporate negative elements which we kind of started to have, but we noticed this and we stopped it, and we're doing it the new way. And not only I chair those, you know, meetings and synchronize them, being a game developer for the last 20 years, like active game developer for the last 20 years, being a very active player of World of Tanks, World of Warships, you know, World of Tanks Blitz. Of course, I have this passion. I cannot just, you know, sit and listen. I talk a lot, and I see all those documents, all those mathematical new approaches we're trying to use. And I'm telling you, it looks good from the scientific standpoint. So matchmaker, rebalancing, these concepts which are presented in a mathematical way, they look good. So please give us some time to implement those, test. You will be obviously a part of this testing. We're doing this more and more now. And when they're perfect, they'll be rolled out.
Moving swiftly on, I always love player names, they're great. This is Ninja Gumby. What have you got for me, Ninja?
What are your thoughts on the current map pool and map design, and what changes can we expect in the future?
maps also are a part of this ecosystem, and this is probably the most tricky part, like a map. You understand, this is a couple of square miles, right? Battle lasts there for 15 minutes. 30 angry guys and girls, okay, mostly guys, are trying to destroy each other in various types of tanks on those maps. So they're much more complicated than those heat maps in tennis or, let's say, in basketball, right? You know, those sports analytics after the tennis match, you see the picture of the court and with, you know, heat map or of tennis player or the ball. But there's only like 2 players, very small playground, and just 1 ball. And still, there's scientific research around this, how to, you know, understand this game of tennis better. In World of Tanks, it's much more complex. We're using those heat maps. We're using scientific methods to analyze that. We listen to the players. Like this time, we decided to make it like really very simple. We did polls across all of our regions, including North America, and we just realized that the top 2 maps, which people don't like or hate, are the same across all the regions, and we just removed them. What happens when we remove the map, any map? Well, easy. We're not psychopaths. We're just taking maps to make you sad. We take them back to the map development department. We analyze why those maps were not good. Well, obviously that's not because the way they look. They all look beautiful, I believe. That's about, yeah, distances, depth maps, heat maps, balance, south versus north, eSports, you know, clan wars. We take all those factors into consideration, and they're being rebalanced, remade. It just takes time. And we'll be doing this more. If something disappeared, we understand that you're not happy, so we're trying very hard to bring something new or refurbish this map and bring it back as soon as possible.
We also just reversed the algorithm, right? We pulled back on it.
Yeah. We had this very strange, let's say, okay, mistake or screw up. Somebody changed algorithm in order to save server-side capacity, and let me explain to you. Maps were grouped in like baskets of this of small baskets of maps, and in order to save server CPU time or memory, they were kind of rotating for a longer period of times, which obviously decreased the variety of the maps you see. Okay, we found it. It's a bug. It's kind of like wrong approach, and we found it and we reversed it. Now algorithm is using all the maps available for this tier, and it should be much better today.
That's great. Our next question is going to come from Junkers. I'm going to let Junkers ask his question.
So Clan Wars has been under fire for a lot of different things, and Clan Wars 2.0 wasn't really well received. What can we expect from Clan Wars in the future?
So we designed the main World of Tanks in the first place as this, fun action 15 on 15 kind of tank game, right? And then it started, picking up steam. First of all, there were players who would say, hey, okay, those battles, we get it, but we want something more. We want the meta game. We want this world to be bigger. We want some reason to be fighting for. That's how Clan Wars, we were like, oh my God, we don't have that. And we started making this. And in the beginning, it was this web kind of map, which worked in browser. And we said to ourselves, okay, those people who want to play those Clan Wars, they're hardcore people. They're very devoted, they want to spend a lot of time, so we made it like, rough and really very demanding. So after a couple of years, Clan Wars became more and more popular. On the other hand, what happened is, if you look at this spectrum of our, let's say, hardcoreness versus casualness, random battles, okay, they're not demanding, okay? You jump in a battle, you jump out of the battle, there are no strings attached, and you can do whatever you want in those battles. Clan Wars require discipline, like at 8 o'clock in the evening, the clan leader sends messages, everybody has to come, to one place, so at one time, log in one room, train, fight for those, territories, which became, for some people, like a work. People take that Clan Wars seriously. And yes, we have to admit that in between this relatively casual like Lonely Wolf, kind of beer and pretzel, sometimes gameplay, random, and Clan Wars, like work, there's void, there's like vacuum. We understood this, so now we have to fix this. And we're going to be fixing this with the help of the concept of player journey. Let me tell you about this so you will understand the full picture. World of Tanks is not just a game which you jump in and out, or play Clan Wars or eSports. From the time that you click on a banner for the first time, a banner with a tank, obviously, and you were transferred to our registration page and then download page, and then download it, and then you installed, and then you grabbed your first tank, and it went to your whatever first battle or went through tutorial, and then you liked the game, you upgraded to tier 2, to tier 3, etc. You like the game more and more, you bring in your friends, then you want, okay, you know how classes work, you are familiar with the maps, you have friends playing with you, now you want something even more competitive, more demanding, all the way up to Clan Wars. So this void in between, Clan Wars and random is a part of this player journey, which is now kind of a little bit empty. We are looking at your life in World of Tanks as like something bigger than just a battle, than just a bunch of battles. And they're different people. Right now we have more than 100 million players, and they're all around the world, from Australia, Southeast Asia, Japan, Korea, Russia, Eastern Europe, Western Europe, North America, South America. There are different, age groups. Like, okay, they're teenagers, they're guys like which are 50 years old. Obviously, they all need something different. And yeah, this is our job, to provide meaningful fun and entertainment and challenge to all those groups of people in different geographies and in different demographic groups. So yeah, we are right now thinking about this player journey not as a bunch of fun modes or like separate modes, but as a way of you actually upgrading your understanding of the game, raising your skills, getting more players, and becoming a little more ambitious on how high you can get. So yeah, we'll be closing this gap. We already have made first steps, like we brought clan registration and some functionality inside the game's client, which is good. I mean, which we should have done before, but okay, it's only now we've done this. And we'll do more about Clan Wars. The major motto of, let's say, refurbishing Clan Wars would be, we need to find good reason for single kind of like non-social players to find their way in Clan Wars and to be somehow helpful there, or smaller groups of people, like 3 friends, because to maintain 100 people, that requires managerial skills like of a good corporate manager. Not everyone is like this. So 3 people, then 7 people, maybe something like ranked battles for 7 people. So we'll carefully study and put one after another those things, or next to each other, implement them so that everyone will have certain level of competitiveness which suits his appetite. So it's in the works.
So we got another question coming up from Silent Demise.
What can be done to reduce griefing in random battles?
In any today's popular game, or social network, or anything online where people kind of flock to communicate, it's always going to be like this. I mean, it's only going to always going to be arms race, of companies like ourselves. How to filter that? Our challenge is that we have more than 40 languages supported. We operate all around the world, so our linguistic filter databases or methodology, they have to support 40 different languages. And I'm telling you, like if you go to Russian server, situation is much worse, because to some extent Russian language is very creative when it comes to creating funny words and bad words. You can just use 3 letters of root, which has the meaning, and then 4 suffixes and 2 prefixes, plus gender, plus tense, and just wrap it up in some like dirty kind of meaning. That's what we have to do in Russia. So it's a never-ending arms race. We're updating our database of those filters. Players are coming up with more sophisticated ways to bypass those filters. But okay, the immediate practical solution is probably we need to, when you install the game, filter on should be the default option.
Right. So you have to opt in to the adult language.
Yeah. To adult language, you will have to opt in. That's what we're going to do right now. And The other aspect of it is we understand that people use now more often bad language because they're frustrated more often. That's the whole thing of this rebalance and bringing back the game you loved. Yes, if you have problems with artillery, the tanks are not balanced, your premium is not as you expected, the maps are not balanced. Yeah, we admit we have that. We're working on that, and we also understand that this is partially the reason why people kind of get frustrated and channel these frustrations through bad language. Fixing the game, making it better, will also fix that problem.
Oh, that's interesting. So the anger they have from being unhappy with the game. And I suppose there's some regional words as well that we need to put into the filters for different regions.
Yeah. This is, let's say, this part of linguistics, it's a professional area. Specialists should take care of this.
Fail platoons, you'll be all over that?
Well, yeah. I myself, when I play, for example, Blitz with my son, he immediately says, "Hey, father, why is it like level 9 and level 6? We're going to tackle this problem. The simplest solution would be just to say, hey, a platoon can be only one tier, which, by the way, I like this idea, but we need to do additional research.
Part of the ecosystem.
Part of the ecosystem before we make that final decision. We work in this, we know.
Well, you just brought up Blitz there. Obviously, Blitz on the iPad. I mean, you are a Blitz player. Actually, you're a pretty big Blitz player, right?
Yeah, well, I'm not the best one, and I play Blitz with my son. That's the most important thing.
So I cheat. I play it in Windows 10 so that I can have the mouse and keyboard and I can murder everyone using the touch controls.
Wait. Windows 10 crowd is matched against Windows 10 crowd.
So you say.
Yeah.
In that case, they're really bad players. But anyway, Blitz is great. We actually have a Blitz player here, Nicky. We invited him because we liked his little video channel. He's an avid Blitzer, and he's got a question for you about new features that he's looking forward to for Blitz. Nicky, you got your question?
When will training rooms be added to Blitz?
Somewhere around May, training rooms are coming to Blitz. Yeah, people are waiting for that. You got it, and you're getting it soon. By the way, why do you need training rooms? I think you were playing Blitz like very well, so why do you need to train?
I'm going to use them to make even better videos.
Now I see you're making videos in Blitz.
Yeah, you should check out his videos. Actually, rolling on from that, Nicky's dad's also here, and he has a question about being a parent and the fact that his kid plays Blitz. Nicky's dad, take it away.
My question is there possible we're using the game as a vehicle to promote the family value, for example, and to promote, to somehow to enhance the interplay between father and son? I know you play game with your son, but you are in the you are all in the pro level. But in our case is, my son is in very high level, but I'm just, in very low entry level. So how we can play together? Do you have some advice?
I, as a father, am really very, very happy that my son plays the games we make, and Blitz specifically. That's the only game we play together now, right? And guess what? He's 8 years old now, but even when he was 7, this gameplay, this time we spent together, by the way, which is very, very quality father-son kind of bonding, and my wife loves it, leads obviously a little boy to asking questions. What is this? What are Germans? What are Russians? Why are they fighting? Etc. Etc. And it's a fantastic opportunity to introduce your kid to history. Okay, military history, history of this World War II, and then museums.
You can also sit down and show them war movies, and they can talk about the tanks they see in them.
Yeah,
and they can point things out. Talking to your child about it. One of my friends that I know here, what he did is he sat and watched his son play, and then he played and had his son give him tips on how to play. So they were bonding by talking about it. But one of the things you told me when we were earlier about, kids shouldn't spend too much time on at the screen.
Oh yeah. The only really big no to that, or big restriction, is the eyes. These flat LCD screens are not very good for young eyes. So okay, we started allowing our kid to play at the age of 6, but playtime is very, very, very restricted. It's 20 minutes per day ish, and he knows the rules.
Yeah.
So we have to be fathers and mothers. they have to be very careful about how much time the kids spend in front of iPad.
It takes us to Commander J, who has a question about esports. Here we go, Commander J.
So I'm wondering about esports. Is it meeting your expectation? And then what's coming up? What's going to be the next big thing for esports in this year? And what will be done to grow the audience even more?
Esports in general is a very, very new thing. Yeah, there's this exotic StarCraft 2 Korean broadcast thing which was going on for like more than a decade now, but this is very exotic. Esports today, the MMO esports like League of Legends, like Dota, to like Counter-Strike, like World of Tanks, is a totally new beast. I can say it's like 4 or 5 years old, like really. So we are kinda, of course, together with Riot Games, Valve, and some other companies, we're reinventing the bicycle. We inventing the new super bicycle. Yeah, and this is a part of pretty much, that's my philosophical belief, this is a part of the whole transformation of our civilization, humanity, into digital. You know, paper magazines and newspapers are more and more things of the past. Every news are online, and you know, search engines and downloadable movies, streaming, Twitch, you name it, social networks. Everything's getting digital now. Well, esports is taking that. Yeah, the stadiums, I was at grand finals of League of Legends in Berlin like a couple of months ago. Of course, this stadium, Mercedes Arena, is impressive, filled with, what, 40,000 people?
About 40,000.
But what is more impressive is those millions and millions of players who were at the same time watching that on Twitch, on YouTube, like all around the world. So yeah, esports is there. Of course, it's not just we say, hey, World of Tanks is esports, and now let it be like this. It doesn't work like this. It's a part of this ecosystem, and esports, in its own right, is kind of like a game inside the game. But the players of this game is not only our employees and our players. There's sponsors like Samsung, LG, who sponsor the teams. These are the pro teams. These are the venue. This is the city. Like we're going to have our grand finals in a couple of weeks in the city of Warsaw. Warsaw, capital of Poland, they love us. Like the mayor loves us. I mean, we have like, you know, red carpet everywhere. They want Warsaw to become esports capital, kind of at least of Europe, if not the whole world. And yeah, we're getting like VIP treatment, and they want us more and more and more. So this ecosystem is again complex. It's new. It's ever evolving. The games are slightly different. You know, if you compare League of Legends to World of Tanks, there's different audiences, different gameplay style, different juicy elements of what's actually interesting on the screen. So yeah, we are having our own way into that. We had this, let's say, philosophical fundamental problem. When we studied esports, for some reason we decided, hey, let's make it quicker. So we have this 42/7 format, which resulted in, you know, all the teams being pretty much medium tanks, with a little bit of IS-3s, medium tanks, like French mostly, who are running like really, really very fast, and there's only 7 of them on the maps which were designed for 15 on 15. So this is my kind of, let's say, unofficial opinion. I'm the advocate of heavy metal tier 10 kind of esports, which looks like the game our people play. With those 7 on 7 fast medium tanks, the problem was that was not the game our core audience plays.
You likened it to soccer and like the World Cup finals, all the way from the streets of Brazil.
Yeah.
And like for growing the audience.
That's obvious. If you look at successful sports like soccer, the reason why World Cup is so popular and with millions of sponsor money and 1 billion people watching it, it's not just because, not only because it's a beautiful game, it is. Not only because it's Ronaldo playing or, you know, David Beckham. It's also because of hundreds of millions of boys all around the world are playing it in their backyard on the beach of, you know, São Paulo or in, you know, small Russian town. So everybody lives and breathes football, and the game is pretty much the same. You have a ball, you have goalposts, okay, a team of X people, and another team of X people, and but that's kind of the same football. That's why kids watch it to become better, because that's the same ball. In our particular case, as I mentioned, this fast tanks 7, or as it apparently is obvious now, too much different from the core game. So we're trying to bridge that gap.
And it's this idea that it's not necessary for you to become a top esport player, but we would like you to enjoy watching it. We would like you to be able to get, entertained and educated by paying attention to it. We want you to watch the finals. We want to grow the audience so that as a tanker, you're invested because you know what's going on and it's covered in a way you like and it makes sense to you. So I think we're all good.
Absolutely. This is the part of this bigger ecosystem, and it's like your normal entertainment and normal sports, like ESPN. That's why, like Activision hired ESPN, kind of big guy. So it's moving there. It's show business. We just need to learn how to make this new type of show business, appealing.
It's one of the reasons we're so excited with the Eclipse team. I mean, we're taking Simp, who one of our power teams, but the Eclipse team, it's their first year that they went into the league. They just came together, they played, they got all the way to the finals, and then they won. It really is like the FA Cup for football. It's a fairy tale story, and it gives hope that just as standard tankers, you come together, teamwork, you can perform.
You were like a millisecond away from saying Cinderella story, right?
I was, yes.
Okay, but
I was very nearly there. I stayed at the end.
You're absolutely right. Esports is not only about tanks or League of Legends matches and just who wins just in this millisecond. It's about stories. Those stories, we're going to be having more and more of those, and I'm really happy to see these guys here. That's the opportunity we're giving to our players to shine if they want. It's not easy, but if you work hard, if you're determined, like in any sport, like in baseball, like in football, you name it.
So I got a follow-up question from Lemming Rush, which is again on esports. Lemming Rush?
So you talked about player progression. You start at tier 1, you go to tier 10, then you go into Clan Wars, and then maybe esports. There's a really big gap when you get to tier 10 to go on to Clan Wars and esports. How do you plan on minimizing that gap and making it as seamless as possible?
Well, obviously, we call this competitive gaming, and it's a part of our player journey. Actually, it is our player journey. Yeah, now we have Clan Wars, Hardcore Esports, and Random. That's our job, to fill in the gap with various types of competitive gaming experiences, be it, let's say, Platoon 3-on-3, or maybe Ranked Battle 7-on-7. We're working on this. It's very interesting and sophisticated task. We analyze what's going on now. Here is the place where we have to be creative. So we have some ideas, trying them, prototyping them, we'll polish them and put them up. So we're working on that.
And also we're going to be increasing like educational videos and introductions, and we're going to be doing like post-analysis of games so that you can, if you're not yet a player of high competition, you can at least understand them, start getting
that's like with any sports. Football or baseball, it was not always like this, right? It took 100+ years for this kind of sports, the classical sports, to become like a total ultimate value. Hey, I'm gonna watch football. Yeah, okay, I get it. Like, I understand why people watch football. May I come with you, by the way? League of Legends, World of Tanks is not yet, that term which your grandmother would understand. So, but
give us some time.
Yeah, give us some time. Like every year with the finals, with our, championships in the regions, with these seasons, we are raising awareness. And the more, let's say, sponsor money flock in, the more older people are like, oh, actually, this can make money. Yeah, can say like a teenager after this grand final showing like a $100,000 check to his parents. They're like, it's like a job. Yeah.
Well, that was a great question. We have another one here from Earwaxian. Go ahead, Earwaxian.
We know we deal with a toxic community a lot of the time. What do you feel of having a positive feedback system in place besides just the negative options right now?
You're absolutely right. That's a very good question, and the answer will be very short. We should absolutely do this. Like, click, choose the player's name, say thank you, send kudos. We were kind of trying to address this with our dynamic platoons, like when you can click on the name of any player in your team and invite him to platoon, and then you can tell him whatever you want, good or bad things, right? But this streamlined Facebook style kind of thumb up, kudos is an easy solution. I will put this on the list. We will make it.
If only we were recording this, then we could like hold you to. Oh, wait a minute, we are. That'll be great. That's a great example of listening to the players, getting. I mean, that's it right there. So we can do that. We're going to do that. He said so.
Yeah.
B-Ted's next. I can already tell you what he's going to talk about. This man is going to coo at you about Moo. B-Ted, off you go.
I've been playing Master of Orion since 1992. I love the game. Thank you so much for bringing it back. Is this just a singular passion project, or do you plan on growing it and creating another Master Orion 2 or Master Orion 3, and where are you planning on going with this? Thank you.
Let me be very, very honest with you. We were not planning on doing Master of Orion, let's say, 3-4 years ago. It was some kind of very lucky stars combination, stars coming together in the skies. Atari was fire selling their assets, and one of those assets was Master of Orion. I immediately, as soon as I heard about this, I asked our biz dev guy, Sean, to go to New York to participate in this, auction. It's like in the movies when, unnamed customer is buying, usually a mafia guy, buying some piece of art and just. So we did this. We started from small amount of, the first bid was like really very small, the initial price, and then it went up to pretty much $1 million. It was like, hey, you get it no matter what. I was in Melbourne for PAX Australia, and Sean was in New York, and we were like doing this telephone kind of conversation. We got it. And what are we going to do with this? Some people would say, hey, make an MMO, make it free to play, World of Tanks style MMO. This is what we can do. But smart people said, no. Master of Orion is a legend. You don't just utilize legend to make more money just like that. It's a single player, mostly classic 4X space strategy. Well, pretty much it started it all. And what we are going to do, we actually almost done it, we bring back the game exactly within this spirit and look and feel, spirit and kind of perception, this magic as it was in early 90s. Of course, we will wrap it up with AAA, visual, sound, production values. It's going to be absolutely polished. The budget for this game creation is millions and millions. We're bringing those famous voiceovers like Luke Skywalker, Freddy Krueger to voice over our characters. We have thousands and thousands of lines of dialogues there. That's GNN, robots, funny. Now the game is in early access on Steam, and I'm so happy. I'm not going to give you the number, but the downloads and sales exceeded all of our expectations. We can see how passionate people are about jumping in it. It appears that many people played this game 15 years ago, well, including myself, and it's very simple. We're bringing back the legend. We want people who played it before and people who were not even born at that time, like my son, to play it and to enjoy it like I enjoyed Master of Orion and Civilization and SimCity back in the days. These strategy games make us smarter. I truly believe that my real MBA is Civilization and Master of Orion. I'm a physicist, as I mentioned, and I wasn't supposed to do business. Games, yeah, I loved, but making big company, big business, you have to have special training for that. Guess what? Play Civilization, play Master of Orions, you'll be good. So there will be the second early access on Steam. Why? Because we're actually doing exact same thing as we're doing more and more with tanks. We're going to listen to the players. They downloaded the game, they're playing, and they bombard us with, comments, sometimes positive, sometimes not. Of course, those diehards from the past, they would demand that everything is exactly like in 1995 or 6. But we're wargaming, we know what to do. By the way, before World of Tanks, for 13 years, we had been making hardcore turn-based strategy games. That's why, by the way, we are called wargaming. Wargame is like a board game, like hardcore strategy game. And we know it's in our DNA. We know how to do that. I did those games, and I'm proud, and I'm so happy to do this again. So After we bring back the legend from nowhere, then we will sit and say to ourselves, okay, now we own the franchise. Because right now we don't. Players know that we don't own the franchise. We just bought the license, the name, that's it. When we release the game sometime this year, and fans tell us kudos, then we and think what we do next with Master of Orion.
When we look ahead to the next year for tanks, I am super excited about the rebalancing. The fact that we're doing a root and branch, everything, ecosystem rebalance. You know, I can't wait for it to turn up. I know it's coming the next year. Like, I'm really, really jazzed about it. But if there was a message you wanted to get people to take away from your time here with the players and to the people watching on the video, what would be the message about wargaming that you would want them to hear?
Well, of course, I am so happy to be where I am, and I'm so happy for wargaming for where it is now. Yeah, okay, we have our ups and downs. We have obvious problems with, Rubicon. Some, that's why we're talking, and some players are very unhappy. But philosophically, like in general, I'm so happy to be in a gaming company which is making games which I love, strategy games, combat games, tactical games, team play games. I'm so happy to be playing these games, to make good business out of it. And also, from now on, we're more and more on understanding that our players, dozens of millions of players we have around the world, are also a part of this. So when you say wargaming, you cannot look at us without looking at how we interact with the players. They're not just, customers who buy your stuff at Christmas time from time to time, right? They're part of our ecosystem. They're no less, important than the balance or, graphics or physics or server-side technology. So we need to understand, and any other gaming company, by the way, too, that players are a part of your online game, and there is no way around it. You have to listen to them, you have to talk to them, you have to, do what they are asking and just listen to the players. We need to have something like very simple and very, very true. And this simple, very, very true phrase is just 2 words: happy player. If you have, let's say, 100 million happy players who, and don't forget, we have free-to-play game, who like what you do inside the game, updates, new maps, new tanks, new gameplay modes. If a player likes your game, what you do, to the extent that he wakes up in the morning and goes and plays a couple of battles, he has no strings attached. He did not pay $60 for this battle, and he will not die tomorrow if he doesn't play. It's not your bread and butter kind of, thing which we do. You play this game for 5-6 years deliberately because you like it. You like updates. If we make you happy, you keep coming back. You bring your friends. You post videos and screenshots of your victories and funny moments, and that's how you spread information about the game. All good things coming out of you as a player being happy. Let me also stress that we say happy as opposed to fun. Okay, sorry, in addition to fun. Yeah, do we want to bring fun to our players? Of course, yes. Every gaming company is talking about fun. But we want to make something bigger than that. Now let me give you an example. Football. World Cup, final game. 70,000 people are watching on the stadium. 2 teams, let's say Germany and Argentina. This is a tie, kind of toe-to-toe game, and during the last minute, let's say Germany scores. What happens? They've been training for like many years to be on this place, and there's boom, this final goal, and that's it, victory. Well, of course, the team itself just explodes. The players just jumping on each other, rolling on the grass, hugging, kissing, high-fiving. Then the coach, the doctors with him, and the whole stadium just jumps and explodes. People just turning around, hugging each other, waving the flags, okay, kissing, already celebrating with something like in their hands, and at least 500 million people around the world actually exploding in the apartments, in pubs, again, hugging each other. All those people are happy. Like, how many times you did this when when your team won? You know, like all those people are happy. So we want this level of happiness to our players. Of course, it's not possible to have this like every second, this kind of happiness, right? That's, by the way, for for competitive people. Challenge, hardship, in war game, is necessary in order to feel the taste of victory and happiness, right? We all understand this. And at Wargaming, if you look at us like very, very philosophically, what we do, we're little magicians who are putting together in the right balance this challenge and happiness for you. So we want you to be happy, and we do whatever it takes. In practical terms, what this means is starting from the boardroom kind of conversations and up to the young intern who just came in from university and is doing some texture of the tank. Everything you do at Wargaming, every new initiative, you question yourself, how will this make players happier? If you don't know the answer to this question, it means probably we don't have to do this. Let's see what will really bring happiness to the players, be it new gameplay mode, new tank, new lightning system, new particle system. Test it. It's not just about just guessing. It's like a scientific laboratory. Whatever hypothesis you have to test, making sure that players like it, making sure that this makes players happier, and then roll it out. So from now on, happy player is our mantra. You wake me up in the morning, and each and every one from our 4,000 employees, ask them what we're doing. Happy players is the answer.
It's a fantastic answer. It's the end of our time. Thank you to the people who managed to get to our studio. Thank you to people who were able to watch the video. Thank you to Victor to be here. It's been great to have you here. Thank you very much. Happy players. That's Wargaming.
Thank you.